Hey fam, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. All right, folks, so we've been covering the story of Botham Jean, the black man in Dallas who was shot and killed by a Dallas police officer. She claims that she thought she was in her apartment, which took place on a different floor, when in fact she was actually in the apartment of Botham Jean. Well, Chris Krok is the host of a radio talk show on conservative radio station WBAP in Dallas. I lived there a number of years and quite familiar with it. This idiot, Chris Krok, did an entire segment devoting to trashing Botham Jean's mother. Right. Mother. Now, Amber Guyger was the cop who shot and killed Botham Jean. So Krok has an issue with Botham Jean's mother speaking out on the issue. So listen to what he actually had to say. The first voice you're going to hear is Allison Jean, Botham Jean's mother. Then you're going to hear Chris Krok and his nonsense. Check this out.
She said nothing to suggest that he was armed and that she sought to disarm him, or he rushed towards her, or he charged her.
She said nothing about Botham being armed, rushing towards her, charging her. You know, this mother is not an authentic mother, honestly telling you her thoughts. She's telling you, she's reading a script of what her attorney said yesterday. Listen closely.
The only thing I heard her saying was, I thought I was in my apartment.
I thought it was my apartment.
That's it. Nothing else. Nothing Botham's charging at me. Nothing. I thought he had a gun.
Yeah, exact same word. Botham's charging at me. He had a gun. What did she say again? Let's hear. What did Mom say?
She said nothing to suggest that he was armed and that she sought to disarm him, or he rushed towards her, or he charged her.
Ah, charging. The same thing your attorney said yesterday. A grieving mom or a scheming mom? And here's my contention right now on Botham Jean's mom. She's filled with bitterness and hatred. Botham Jean's mother is either being lied to and has been lied to by her race pimp attorney. She's got several race pimp attorneys. Or she's lying to us, scheming because she wants to make money off of this, or because she wants to nail this woman, Amber Guyger, to a cross in any way she can. And Amber Guyger is not a cold-blooded murderer as she wants us to believe. It's actually so sad that Amber Guyger, that Botham Jean's mom, Allison, actually says this woman has every attribute of a murderer. But she's going to cause a riot in a city that wouldn't riot, because she's going to be doing the same crap. When there's a not guilty verdict, and there will be a not guilty verdict by mistake of fact, when that happens, this woman who says that Guyger has every attribute of a murderer, she's going to scream. She's going to say with that drug dealing pimp husband of what's his name in Ferguson, Michael Brown, who tried to murder the cop and who committed strong arm robbery when he was high, and then was shot and killed. Remember his father-in-law, his stepfather, who's a jailbird, always in and out of jail, dealing drugs and stuff. He yelled, "Burn this MFer down." Do you remember that? In St. Louis and Ferguson, Missouri, when the Hussein Obama black African-American Hussein Obama Justice Department said there's nothing here to charge the cop with, Michael Brown tried to kill the cop. You know, he yelled, "Burn this MFer down." Right? That's basically, without saying burn this MFer down, what Botham Jean's mom is doing. So she's seeking revenge, vindictiveness, and to destroy Amber Guyger. When what this really was and what this really is a horrible and sad confluence of events. And for some reason, God took Botham away. It was his time. And for some reason, God chose to use Amber Guyger to do that.
Let me go to my panel, Mustafa, to listen to this racist. First of all, let me unpack this. Mm-hmm. WBAP is a white conservative radio station in Dallas, Fort Worth. Listen to his language. Race pimp lawyers. He attacks Botham Jean's mother. she's the one whose son is dead. God used Amber Guyger, and then he's like, oh, this confluence of events. A guy is dead because of her actions. And then, oh, the mom is going to cause a race riot in Dallas. This is the kind of nonsense that is allowed by these white conservative talk radio show hosts who don't give a damn about black lives. This is why Black Lives Matter. And when you have racists like this, and I very rarely use the word racist, but when you listen to the language of this bigot, of what he said in that 3-minute and 17-second clip, that's all you need to understand about the kind of person this idiot is.
You know, this is from the old playbook, you know, where they dehumanize, delegitimize the individuals who, in many instances, are the ones who are being impacted, the ones who have been victims of violence. So this has been going on, you know, for hundreds of years, unfortunately, in this country. This goes back to a previous conversation that we were having. So for those folks who say they are people of faith, for those who say that they believe in morality and humanity, all these various things that we, you know, we sort of share, that who we are as Americans, it is time for folks to utilize their dollars when you have these types of individuals having these shows, and making sure that you let their sponsors know that you will no longer support this show if these types of individuals continue to sort of share this rhetoric. And we have power, but folks have to sort of actually show up, like we said earlier, and stop this type of thing and make sure that people understand that you are no longer going to support this type of behavior, either through listening or through the utilization of your dollars.
Dr. Carter, again, I'm listening to these words. Michael Brown wanted to kill the officer in Ferguson. Oh, his stepdad, oh, drug dealer. Yep. Again, the attorneys, race pimps. Mm-hmm. The mom, she's not grieving. All she wants is $1. Mm-hmm. When she's the one whose son is dead and Amber Guyger is still alive.
Well, I mean, that whole screed was about exonerating Amber Guyger. Like you said, a confluence of things. God used her. This had nothing to do with God, and everything to do with this woman discharging her weapon in a home that was not her own. And Mr. John and his mother, by extension, you know, become the collateral damage that just sort of happens and it falls out of the sky. And this is the kind of hypocrisy, I think, that Republicans are going to have to contend with in November, but also that we have to contend with right now, because as Mr. Jones said in a previous segment, and as we said before, all of this stuff is connected and it is related. These things are not these disconnected or disparate moments of racism. The reason he says those things is because we know this American playbook, which is when in doubt, blame the dead person, because dead men tell no tales. So Mr. John is dead, and the only person left is Amber Guyger, and of course, it's a small white woman, so she should get our sympathies, at least as far as this Krok person is saying on his show. And then, you know, black mothers can't feel anything for their children. Black parents shouldn't be rightfully outraged at the fact that their children are dead for really no reason. This man was in his home. There's no place that he should have been safer, but he is dead, and it's really hard to contain the level of anger and the level of just rage. And I think that is a legitimate emotion for people to feel when you have to listen to nonsense like this, and you have to listen to people tell you that you shouldn't feel all the things that you feel at the loss of life and the damage that is done to communities when things like this happen, because they don't just happen in a vacuum. They happen in a social and political context. And we know this all too well. Black people don't need an investigation to know that something bad happened, and that it happened, and it happened over and over again. It's been happening for decades. It's been happening for hundreds of years. It's been happening since this country has been a country. And so when we talk to people like Chris Krok, and we can't have a conversation with people like that because they're not interested in what is the truth. They don't care about God, despite what they say. They don't care about conservatism, despite what they say. They don't care about anything but the ideology of white supremacy. And that, unfortunately, leaves black people, Latino people, and others dead in the street on a far too regular basis, either from environmental conditions, from police officers' bullets, from just the sort of economic weight and disparities that exist in this country. And I'm sorry, this was beyond the pale of disgusting.
Kelly, when you listen to those attacks, this is the messaging that white conservatives are getting every day. Not that she was wrong, not that she should be held accountable, but, oh, black folks, it's y'all problem. He essentially was saying, Botham Jean, you're the reason you're dead. Not the fact that you're in your own apartment and that she was wrong, but you're dead because of you.
No, absolutely. And if there's anything that a racist white man has, it is the audacity and the unmitigated gall to blame somebody who is dead, to blame black people for black people problems when it's really, in this case, a white person's blame to bear. And I remember this case specifically because the apartment itself was by fob, and there was virtually no way to get into that apartment on your fob if you did not live there. So his notion that this is going to be a mistake of fact and that she's going to be exonerated and all of these things, I beg to differ. Again, the trial hasn't necessarily happened yet, but he's already lying through his teeth. And again, he just had the audacity to go so far as to blame a grieving mother for wanting justice for her son. And I'm pretty sure that in the case of, Noor, I believe his name is, in Minneapolis, who just got jailed for killing a white woman under very similar circumstances. That family was awarded $20 million, and he's having the unmitigated gall to say that this black woman is seeking damages on behalf of her son. I sincerely doubt that she would get $1, let alone $20 million, because of this case, if what's going to happen by way of her being exonerated is going to happen. She's not going to see anything. It's highly doubtful anyway. So either way, he's absolutely disgusting.
And the only thing he might have gotten right is that she's likely to be exonerated.
Unfiltered, be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.